Neo Yokio, Netflix's new anime series, is both a lesson in how to parody and how not to parody, how not to anime and how to anime. At times, it's genuinely good, and at others, it's blatantly pandering. I found myself going back and forth the whole time saying, this is trash, and I actually kind of like this throughout each episode. Ezra Koenig created Neo Yokio with the assistance of Production IG and Studio Dean. And let me tell you that Dean quality shows a lot. But we're not talking that it's going to be liquefied character designs like Higurashi no Nakukoro ni or Konosuba had. They're actually pretty solid character designs, but it's still noticeable that Dean had a hand in how they move. I went into this without knowing Dean was on board, so when I noticed this, it kind of all made sense as to why it looked the way it did. Now, that said, at least we're not looking at
Mana, the goddess of energy. She's a goddess. We don't know how she'll react.
How are we going to get there?
The king sent us blackbirds. I came to get you guys. Everyone is already on the battlefield.
The team behind Neo Yokio at least put some polish into what they were doing, and well, it still kind of feels anime. Arcangelo's design reminds me of a lot of characters like Toga from Revolutionary Girl Utena or Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And Charles the Mecha in himself is an entire reference to mind-sync mechas like the Evangelion or Razafon. The problem is, to catch even some of the references, you actually have to know a decent number of anime. I'm sure there were things I missed, and there's an episode based around the concept of Ranma 1/2, which is something I'll really want to talk about later. The title screen is loosely based around the title screens of Evangelion. There's some Sailor Moon text thrown in when we're introduced to one of the characters. One of the other lead characters acts like a mix of Rei Ayanami, Junko Enoshima, and Tomoko Kuroki. They even throw in the term hikikomori for added effect. You can probably still get by this show without knowing many anime, but I think that's in part of why I enjoyed the parts that I did. I don't know how many non-anime fans will actually even think this is decent, especially with the pandering scenes it employs. It wasn't much of a surprise to us to know that from the trailer there may have been some kind of agenda behind Neo Yokio. From Jaden Smith voicing the main character, Koenig as producer, and well, I think if you use a little bit of Google or know a bit about Jaden Smith in the last few years, you might see where this is going. Out of the gates with the trailer, we were sold on the words diversity, greatness, and the like, which probably set off bells in people's ears, and mine as well. I don't necessarily believe making something diverse makes it by default great, but I get why people want the diversity. To an extent, it is important, but you don't need to shove it in the story if it's going to, in the end, subtract from your final product. That said, I don't think that was quite the issue with this show. Diversity in itself wasn't shoved down the viewer's throat. It existed as a diverse entity, without consistently making direct statements regarding it. There were a few subtle jokes about it, such as Kaz, Jaden's character, calling his suit as black as his espresso, while at the same time being a black character, but nothing explicitly stating something like, "You're fucking a white male!" The problem really, I think, surfaces later in the show during the Ranma 1/2 episode in which Kaz takes his buddy Lexi as a date to a party. The show toyed around with homosexuality prior to this with another character, but wrote it off pretty easily by just saying this line.
Demonic Chapel? This is a club. My boyfriend's the DJ. He spins Gregorian house.
After Kaz tries to pass Lexi off as his date, which in essence, because this concept is based around Ranma 1/2, would make sense to everyone around them, Lexi, who was originally a dude, got splashed by some magic water that turned him into a chick. So now Kaz is taking advantage of this situation. Instead, after Kaz forcefully kisses Lexi, we're treated to a minute-long conversation on how gender is a spectrum. Lexi identifies as male, regardless of his female body, etc., etc.
I'm just taking advantage of this temporary transformation.
I don't want you kissing me, son!
Lexi, you sound like a real homophobe.
Homophobe? Nah, B. I may have this hot female body right now, but I do not identify as female. And even if I did, you still can't just kiss me to make your ex jealous.
You're really overreacting. It's funny.
Funny? I'm seeing a side of you I don't really like, Cass. I think Kathy's right. You don't know how to treat women.
Well, you're not actually a woman.
First of all, gender is a spectrum, not a binary. And second of all, I know a misogynist when I see one.
I am not a misogynist. Keep your voice down.
You gotta be tight, Kaz.
Come on. Let's just calm down and go back to the party. You're getting hysterical.
Hysterical? Then get out of here.
You see, I think other shows handle this extremely well. Revolutionary Girl Utena specifically has gender commentary, but allows you to make the connections yourself. And you can see How Am I the Revolutions of Utena video. Or in the dub of Maid Dragon, which passed off cultural appropriation and the patriarchy as jokes while still showing them in the light that people are concerned with them in. While people may not exactly like that, they didn't shove one ideology down your throat. Essentially, what this is going to do is split the viewer base in two. Those that agree with Neo Yokio and those that don't. The scene could have been handled in such a way that Lexi states he still identifies as male regardless of the situation, and been left alone. Now I get this is a one-off scenario, but it leads to the bigger problem of Neo Yokio, in which I believe it doesn't know when to take a side and when not to take a side. So far, we're aware where the team stands with gender. Race hasn't really been pushed, but we're aware that they value diversity. But the one thing I really want to highlight is the one that holds the story together: capitalism. So capitalism is told to us to be an evil of this world, and quite possibly the biggest problem with this is while it shows us how bad it can be, it also shows us how bad communism can be and the perks of capitalism. Unfortunately, it's part of Kaz's entire character arc. His utopian view of Neo Yokio gets shattered as he realizes the evils of capitalism, which then kind of goes back to my original point of diversity in of itself doesn't make something great, but all that's around such diversity needs to be refined as well. So I'm not even sure in the end what the show was trying to tell me. It feels like they were trying to avoid the pandering at times, but didn't care at others, and that just made it fall on its face. And that's going to bring me straight back into diversity. Again, we were told in the trailer that Neo Yokio was a diverse land, but it didn't feel that way. Sure, you had multiple characters from multiple different backgrounds, but it never felt like those backgrounds broke through. I recall seeing a claim of Netflix's Death Note being whitewashed because it didn't let the characters be themselves culturally, but instead adopted the culture of Seattle. The same can be said here. This feels more or less like the homogenized culture of Neo Yokio, which I could really care less about, but I know someone somewhere will make a problem out of it, and that could have been avoided if they pushed diversity correctly, which still would have been a problem, but probably less so by its target demographic. So the agenda you may think Neo Yokio was going to push is kind of nonsensical. Aside from its stance on gender, we're left more confused than force-fed, which could be seen as a strength, but I feel that if it wanted to commit so hard to gender, it should have fully committed in every regard. If you're one of those people who agree with the opinion set showcased in Neo Yokio, you're probably really going to like this show. And if you're actively able to disagree with something and still see value in it, you'll probably still get enjoyment out of some of the honestly really good humor in the show. But if you don't think you can separate yourself that far from some of the show's messages, I think this is something you should avoid altogether. There really are better uses of a 6-episode time frame like Fooly Cooly or Planetarian. There are better parody anime like Konosuba and Luluko, and there are better stories which comment on touchy subjects in such a way that don't feel force-fed, like Revolutionary Girl Utena for gender, Black Lagoon for diversity, and Code Geass for the evils of government. So for the failed job of idea policing that Neo Yokio does, I still enjoyed my time with it. Whether I was laughing at the good humor, cringing at the cheesiness, witnessing something that's out of nowhere, or laughing at some of the horrendously bad voice acting.
You know what, Helena? You don't deserve this big Toblerone.